Hi everyone. I wanted to take some time here and let you guys know a little bit about my story and my background. My name is Natasha, and I grew up as a Catholic. I knew about God. My family raised me as a Catholic. We went to church. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It felt more like I was forced to do. I went through everything, confirmation, baptisms, and all that. And then, I never really kept that, as I grew up and got older. I never continued that godly life. That's how I saw it. That's how I read into it. Back in 2012, my life changed. I got very ill, and from 1 minute to the next, I could have died. That's how fast my life changed. If it wasn't for my husband taking me to the hospital and forcing me to go to the hospital because I wouldn't go, I really wouldn't have gone, and I would have died that night. I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and I was young. I was about 34 years old. Never been ill in my life, never going to the doctor. All of a sudden having congestive heart failure. And I remember when that doctor told me in the hospital that my heart was only pumping and functioning at 15%, my life just drained out of me. I felt my world crumble around me. It is the worst feeling in the world to hear, especially when you were fine and you had no symptoms, and then boom. So my congestive heart failure was diagnosed because I had a bronchitis infection that attacked my heart. It went into my bloodstream and it went straight to my heart and it attacked it. That night was the worst, I'm telling you. If it wasn't for my husband, I wouldn't be here. But that's also the night following after that, my life changed. Because now I had to get used to living with a pacemaker and defibrillator. I was in and out of the hospital every 2-3 months. I was always in the hospital for a week or 2 weeks and all that. I've also had pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot to your lung. So it was rough. It was a rough 2 years, I would have to say, of going in and out of the hospital, feeling that of lost, lonely. I had family support, but everybody was babying me, and I was like, no, I didn't want to face this. And that's when I started feeling like God abandoned me. I felt like God gave up on me and he made me sick. And so I slowly started to forget about God. I slowly started to think God did not exist. Because why would God do this to me? If God loved me, why would he make me sick? Why would he make me the way I am right now, is how I was thinking. I was so depressed, never let anybody know. Just to go to Walmart or the supermarket, I would have to use a wheelchair because I couldn't walk because of how tired and short of breath I was. To go to Disney with my family, I would have to rent wheelchairs. Shortly after that, my father passed away. So even more, I went into depression. Even more, I thought God hated me. Even more, I hated God more than anything. More than anything in this world, I hated God. Because he took away so much from me. He took away my freedom of being able to continue my life the way I had it without limitation. Taking away my father at the time that I really needed him the most. And I got into this thing of I hated God. My mom would tell me, oh, you gotta thank God for this. And I'd be like, for what? God, why? He hates me. Look what he did to me. Look what he took away from me. Every 3 months I go to the doctor and I would think, God did this to me. So I really hit depression. My life really was in a spiral. We had money problems, we had family problems, we had a lot of different types of problems. But I always felt God abandoned me. And it was hard. It was hard. I wouldn't take pictures with my family because I felt horrible. I had gained so much weight because I'm limited. And I'm telling you, I really felt, from a person that would go to church all the time as a Catholic, to not wanting anything to do with God ever again, because in my mind, I'm telling you, God hated me. In my heart, God hated me. That's what I would tell myself every day. My best friend would try to get me to go to church. And I would tell her, oh, I'll go on special occasions only, and that'll be good for the rest of the year for me. Because why should I give God any attention? Why should I give God any of my attention when God apparently doesn't answer my prayers, and God apparently doesn't care about me? Fast forward more, imagine 36-year-old having to file for disability because of my condition. People look at me weird because they're like, why are you on disability? And I started to hate myself. I started to not love myself, nonetheless love God. And we would always pass by this church. About maybe 3 years ago or so, we would pass by this church. We had moved to a new area. We would pass by and my husband would go, I want to go there one day. I want to go to that church. And I'd be like, why? What for? What has he ever done for us? Give us heartache? Give me this condition? Why would I go to that church? I don't want to go. I don't want to step foot there. And you know, I said, if you want to go, you go. But I'm not going. I'm not stepping foot into that church ever. I say that now, and it's funny because he went. He went by himself. I want to say he went for like 3 weeks all by himself on a Sunday. He would get home and he would be like, oh my God, let me tell you what happened at church. And I would say, no, you can go to church. I don't care. But I never want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about anything about there. I don't want to hear about the people. I don't want to hear about what they preached, because that's all they're doing is preaching it to you and brainwashing you. God means nothing to me. That was my mentality. So one day, a friend of ours, they were going to go, and his girlfriend was going. And she was like, oh, go with me. I don't want to go alone with the guys. Come on. So I said, and I remember like if it was yesterday, I said, I'll go, guys, but don't expect me to participate. Don't expect me to stand. Don't expect me to do anything. This wasn't a Catholic church. This was a Christian church. So I went. My husband, you know, he knows everybody there. And I was like, I'm just going to sit there and don't bother me. So of course he sits in the very front row, which I hated. I hated. Because now I felt obligated that I had to stand up. Now, mind you, this is what I'm thinking in my head. Now I'm obligated to get up. And something in my heart said, this is good. But I didn't want anyone to know about it. I really didn't want anybody to know. Sorry. I really didn't want anybody to know that I liked it. I wanted it to stay hidden that I liked church. And the following week we went again, and I told my husband, I want to go with you. And he's like, no, I told you I would never force you. And I said, I know, but it just feels weird, you know? If people don't see me with you, they're gonna think it's bad. This is what I was thinking. Oh, sorry. This is what I was thinking in my head. And we went, and I want to say my third time there. I was touched by just songs alone, by worship, then by the word. Their sermon was amazing. Everybody there's amazing. But I felt at home. I felt like this is what God wanted. So when we went out, it was like, I don't know, the Holy Spirit entered me that day. And I was like, I'm in. I felt like God just like, okay, sorry. I felt like God was just there with me, and it was just me and him alone, no one else there. And I was like, can this really be real? Can it really be real? God, you abandoned me. You abandoned me. You gave me this sickness. You took my father. But why do I want you back in my life? That's how I felt. Like, why would I want you back in my life? The more I went, the closer I felt to him. The better my life got. The more I understood why. The more I understood why. It was a path in my life I had to take. It was something that needed to be done for me to find home again with him, to find the love. Because through him and through this church, he led me to an amazing family who were friends, who have become family. And now we're leaders. We lead Bible studies. I serve at the church, something I never thought I would ever do in my life. January 2020 changes in my life. I got rebaptized as a Christian. I had my whole family there and my new family. And I feel closer to God more than ever in the world. I feel so close to him now. Where once I felt like I was by myself, but he was always there. He was always at my reach. And I am so thankful for this new journey I have now. This new journey I have with God and Jesus. And so if you feel like I did, don't ever give up like I did. I've been able to help a lot of women and men, but mostly women, with the disease that I have. And this was God's plan, for me to help and guide others like I am, for me to help them understand that your life isn't over just because you got this disease. I'm grateful and thankful every day for my husband taking me to that church. I was born again. And with God by my side now, I'm limitless. In Jesus' name, I'm so thankful and grateful for him. Thank you guys for listening to me. I hope this helps someone. I hope this helps you understand that you're not alone ever. And the more you think you are, just look up. And he's always watching us. Have a beautiful, blessed day, guys.